a sense of community when you're free. Rolling through the mountains, rolling through the valley, rolling through paradise with me.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Small Talk. Speaking of welcoming back, I'm so pleased to welcome back, or I think this is like a third time, Shawna Lorraine. Welcome back, Shawna.
I think so, yeah.
So
hi, Nancy. Thank you.
You're welcome. So now I know this is like getting towards the end of tax season. So I imagine you must be really busy, no?
Actually, this is sort of where I'm tying everything up out here on the road, which is where I'm at right now. I'm going between Medicine Hat and Brooks today. And but I'm finalizing my part of this actually this week, even though the filing deadline isn't until the 30th. Mm-hmm. So that means I'm actually winding down, but the team in the office is swamped and they'll be working through till the end of the month. And actually I'll be going in next week to help out too. So, but then I don't have to drive all day. I can sit in an office and just get some work done. So that'll be nice.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm just kind of wondering, what are some of your, or have been some of the more challenging things that you've had to do this season?
Oh gosh. Well, what I've learned a lot about this year that I didn't know about last year was when a Canadian sells American property in the States. So this would be for people who are maybe snowbirds or dual citizens, that sort of thing. And I don't even actually do the American side of it, but what people do is they file in both countries and the math kind of gets figured out overall, right? Mm-hmm. So that was something that was a little more challenging because it isn't part of what I do. I just do the Canadian side. So I've learned a little bit about that. And I'm staying awake. Some of these days have been pretty long. You know, I've left my home at 7 a.m. and gotten home at 9 o'clock at night just to try to make things work for people. But it's so much easier for them as business owners to be able to have their appointment in their location and then just get back to work when they're done. So
one thing I'm wondering, you know, as a homeowner, I fill out this form every year that this is the place where I'm living and I haven't sold it, all this stuff. Is it the same for businesses? Like if they purchased a location, do they have to fill out that same type of thing?
When you have a corporation, which is something I'm still learning about in my second year, you have assets, and so you're going to declare those assets, but those aren't owned on a personal level. Okay. The form you're filling out for yourself is that you have a primary residence.
Right.
That's your home, and that's not subject to tax when you sell it at whatever time of life that is. Yeah. If you did have another home as a business, though, and I guess I should say a house, not a home. Yeah. If you owned a second house that isn't where you live and you're renting it out as a business, you know, as a landlord, yes, that's something you're going to declare as an asset on your business asset list as well. You might be using that as a capital cost allowance or not. So the circumstances could depend on if you're incorporated or not. I'm not sure. But as a primary homeowner, that's what you're filling out. You're declaring this property as your tax-free home.
I know, and it's annoying because it's every year the same thing, you know, and it's like, government, what do you know?
You know, there are people who have moved consistently and flipped homes. Like you see it on TV all the time. You know, we move in and 3 months later, this house doesn't look the same and we sell it for way more than it was worth. So that it's people that do those sorts of activities that make the reporting happen, because if that's their primary residence while they're living in it and renovating, that's a different story than if it wasn't their primary residence. So it isn't necessarily that all the reporting matters to you each year, but some years it could. Things might change in the future. So they ask every year because we have choice in Canada. We can start a business whenever we want. We don't have to be conscripted and all those sorts of things. So they ask. That's why they ask. They don't assume.
I understand all of that. I just feel like they don't trust that we will report it if we are selling it as, you know, as our secondary home, you know. right?
No, they do their best to make sure they get all the information and all the money they can. So that's why I try to make sure to use all the rules to the advantages of my members,
Right.
because they're going to ask and they know what to look for. So let's use it to your best advantage.
Okay, getting back to tax with businesses again, do you come across a lot of situations where business owner doesn't know what they can claim or what they can't claim?
Yeah, especially when people are just getting started with their businesses.
Yeah.
There are, if you think about it, there's a lot of different types of expenses that happen in different kinds of businesses. The agency that I work for began with farms, and no two farms are the same. And so any given farm could have a variety of expenses, but it really depends on the style of income they're bringing in.
Okay.
Once you move off the farm and get over to the business side, then the types of deductions that you have, again, will depend on the type of income that you're bringing in. So if you've done your due diligence and you researched your industry and things like that, you've probably gone to the Canada Revenue website and you've looked, and it would explain, this is what goes along with travel. This is when travel is allowable. This is when travel is not allowable. Those rules are out there. It's the driest reading I've ever read. It's worse than a textbook, honestly. So I can understand why people just don't. Honestly, if you could just give me a checklist and then I know, that would just be easier. And I get that. Business owners are busy.
Mm-hmm.
So, last summer after tax season and before this tax season, I put in a curriculum at college to try to learn about these things. They won't all apply to each business, but they will all apply to Canadian businesses in general. So
Okay.
that's why it's good to ask me what matters to you, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'm just thinking about too people who are self-employed, like not as a big business, but like say a landscaper or a house cleaner, whatever like that, because they would have certain maybe smaller claims or smaller deductibles, right?
Yeah. If you're a home-based business, you're going to use parts of your home expenses as your office expense. And that really, that can come down to how many square feet and how much time in a day is at your office. So they can be pretty particular if they need to. Again, sometimes travel will come into play and sometimes it won't. And it matters as to what it is your business is. So it's hard to give general answers to things like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it gets kind of confusing, I think, though, for some people, right?
Well, sure. I mean, there's plenty of stories out there of people talking to their friend who is also a business owner, and their friend did it this way. So they did it that way and they got dinged. And why would I get dinged? And there's a variety of reasons why taxes are owing and why taxes aren't owing. And so if you talk to your friend about their situation, it may or may not apply to you.
Mm-hmm.
Not every farm is what they call a qualified farm. It depends on how much income the farmer was earning from the farm or off farm. And so those details matter. And they might not be the same for you and your neighbor,
Yeah.
So, the particulars are complicated and they are tricky. And they're not written in a conversational tone either. When you go to Canada Revenue site, it's very technical.
Right.
There's a lot of jargon, and a lot of words that you might use in everyday actually mean something in tax language. So that can confuse people very simply. And they don't teach this in high school, sadly. No. So it's understandable that it isn't common knowledge for business owners.
Right. One thing I've personally I found that when I don't understand something like that, reading, I can call them, and they're really usually very good at helping over the phone, I find, right?
Yeah, Canada Revenue does have staff that you can call in during, regular business hours, and that changes with the time zones. So something I'd really like to share right now is there is a strike, and I'm not sure what day you're going to share this video, but there's a strike possibility happening with Canada Revenue this year. So that's 2022 2022's tax year. We're in 2023's calendar year. So if somebody is e-filing their 2022 income taxes, we are told there will not be any delays. The computers are going to still be working. The computers are still going to send you your tax bill or issue your refund. Okay. And the computers are still going to do all of that. It's only if somebody is paper filing a return, and that there's certain circumstances where you have to paper file. So if you've passed away this year, your executor will paper file, and a few other reasons. So if you're someone who is always paper filed, try to choose e-file this year if you're looking to skip a delay. Otherwise, Canada Revenue isn't making any estimates or promises about anything. Right. So that's something I want to share right now while I'm thinking of it, to make sure that the audience knows what matters this year.
Okay. Yeah, that's really good to know. Mine's done. I always... Good. Yeah. I'm an early filer. As soon as I got all of my information, I file online, and it's, done and over with, right? Yeah. I have this, I hate being late for showing up for things late and filing late. So I always figure, if you don't have to pay interest, why would you want to,
Exactly. Yeah. There's a few reasons. There's a few good reasons to pay interest, I suppose, but taxes isn't one of them.
Never.
Yeah.
Never. I just, just as an aside, my ex, when we were first together, he always paid the bills, and he's a procrastinator. And I would say to him, why are you paying late? We're paying a penalty. We're paying a fine. So finally I took over the bills, paying the bills, because to me it was so dumb. He was just a procrastinator. There was no other reason,
Yeah, you call it a convenience fee, right? I'll pay this at my convenience. Here's the extra fee to do that. Yeah. No, I can understand that. So, we try to make sure, the deadline that's coming up, things like that. If there's things that are done incorrectly and it's us that did them, we pay those penalties and file and fees, which is something that I don't think there are other tax preparation companies that offer that guarantee. So that's something I want people to know about too, and also audit representation. That's never really included in your tax prep bill, but it is included in our membership. So if Canada Revenue chooses you randomly, or actually sees something that looks weird and they want to look into it, because maybe it's not your normal operating strategy, we're the ones that they're talked to. So they'll send you a letter, you'll phone us, and we'll talk to them, and we'll get the information for them, and you really just don't have to deal with them except for the most extreme circumstances. So and the ability to call in all year long, because it is a membership. It isn't something that you're billed by the hour for. You call in when you need to. So again, those uncertainties, where is this allowable, or is this something that's going to affect my taxes or not? That's how you learn, is talking to your professional. You're a specialist every year, and asking them what matters to you. Yeah. I have two options. What are they both going to cost me? And then you get to decide what you can afford, so yeah.
So, okay. So what is the contact information? That's really important to get that out there.
Yeah, so I think that the most direct way to reach me would be through email. So that's skoch@fdc.ca. So skoch@fdc.ca. If you send an email and let me know that you found me here through Nancy's show, that would be fantastic. Yeah. I know I did get a few people reach out last year with great questions. Yeah, it was good to have some questions and offer some advice. They didn't necessarily need me all year long, and that's cool. So, but it's still awesome to be able to help and let Canadians know the choices they actually have with taxes. It's weird to put those two words together, choice and tax. Yeah, you have to. The rules are the rules, folks. I'm not saying that you shouldn't play by the rules, but you should use them to your best advantage. So,
and we don't know what we don't know.
Well, there was a woman that I helped this morning, and she has money set aside that is in her retirement income fund,
Okay.
and she wants to pull it out of there while she's still here to use it, you know?
Yeah.
And she wants to know about the income tax situation, but she also wants to make sure she doesn't claw back her old age security. Now, she's not a business owner today, but she has been all these years with FBC, and so she still has a relationship with us. And so we were able to talk this morning about how much more she could pull out of her account without changing her tax rate.
Oh.
You know, she'll still take more dollars out, so she'll pay more dollars of tax, but that rate won't increase. And so she'll get the money moved out that much faster at the same price as if she waited a little bit longer and reach her goals that much faster.
Right.
So it isn't always necessarily just the tax bill that we're talking about. There's more cash flow involved. When we're talking to seniors, we might be helping them reach assisted subsidy thresholds for assisted living and things like that. So it's a little more complicated than just taxes.
Right.
The taxes is where you start with those programs too. So
Yeah.
so it's a pretty fulfilling conversation sometimes that I get to have with my members.
Yeah, I didn't realize that there were so many different things involved. I thought it was just tax, you know, and then what, you know, as far as, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, a lot of the ways that the government tries to support the taxpayers back when they do give money back to the people is based off of your income tax numbers. So if you haven't been filing your income taxes, you won't qualify or be eligible to qualify for these programs and subsidies. So filing your income taxes each year, even if you're in a refund and they're not going to penalize you for it, you still need to have that information on file so they A, count you in, right? And then B, can administer to you as well. And when your numbers are filed through your income taxes, that's when they recalculate any sort of child taxes, GST rebates, senior benefits, pension, not your Canadian pension, that's its own calculation, but the old age security and the government guaranteed income supplement, those are all income tested.
Right.
So, and different health benefits, different provinces will have different programs come and go, and those are generally all income based. So that's why it's important to get these numbers filed, so you can participate and maximize your benefits from when you're eligible for them, of course.
Right. Or just another thing I wanted to just tell people, like if you have a CRA account, when you're filing online this year, like everything, it just connected right away to, you know, to my CRA account, right? When I finished doing my taxes, and it's like everything just like boom, 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 was all done practically for me. It was so cool.
Yeah, what we've been told is while COVID happened, they moved people out of the auditing department and moved them into other departments to try to streamline the processes. They want to make this simpler for people because, well, if you don't file taxes, they don't know how much you owe and then they can't collect. So there's that.
Yes.
But also, again, back to the programs that people do need to use. If we can make the process simpler, people will get involved and participate. So, and then they can, you know, fully enjoy the benefits being Canadian. So.
Right. Just off the topic, are you near a farm? Am I hearing cows?
I'm parked right on the side of the Trans-Canada Highway.
Oh, I'm hearing.
I don't have I do see a barn over there, but it's about a mile away. It's pretty windy.
Oh,
so you might hear some traffic driving by, some bigger trucks, and maybe they have cows on them. I'm in Alberta.
well, I wasn't sure what I was hearing, so it was kind of interesting, you know.
Yeah.
Now I'm hearing something else, and I don't know if it's in here or if it's in my home or online, but some kind of strange noise, but could be outside. I don't know. So I think we covered everything. Did we get everything?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, again, the income tax deadline this year for filing in 2023 is May 1st because of the weekend. If you are a small business owner, you actually don't need to file until the end of June, but you still have to pay by April 30th if you're owing.
Okay.
So definitely reach out with the email. And
sorry, Shawna, your sound's been cutting out a little bit there.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I did. I think you did freeze for a minute there too. Am I back?
Broke up a little bit. So start from when you're filing, you were
Okay.
finishing off there.
Okay. Yeah. So.
Oh, now you've completely frozen. You're completely frozen, so I don't know what's going to happen there. Shawna, if you can hear me, I'm just going to end it here because I don't know how long it's going to take you to get back. So everybody, you've been listening to Shawna Lorraine, and I'm going to include her contact number, her contact email address, rather, if you have any questions or if you want to hire her to help you with your taxes. She's really good at what she does. She has lots of information. So anyway, in the meantime, thank you everybody watching, and I hope you continue to do so. And take care and peace out, everyone.
A sense of community, Chilliwack's a place to be. A sense of community where you're free. Rolling through the mountains, rolling through the valley, rolling through paradise with me. It's multicultural, you're sure to see it all. Chilliwack's the place to be, you'll see. Come party in the park, go dancing after dark. Chilliwack's the place to be, you'll see.